Hey guys, MGH here and welcome back to another episode of my career mode guide series where basically if I can help you in career mode, this is where it will be. I'm going to be giving out tips, strategies, guides, anything to do with career mode to help you guys be more successful. And in this episode, as you can tell in the title, we're going to be looking at some of the best under 18 players in the game. Well, not some of them, just the best under 18s in the game in terms of potential and their rating at their current age, I should say. But I will not be talking about price in this video because I don't want to ruin too much of the fun for you guys if you enjoy the scouting. So if you want one of these players, you need to go ahead and scout them to find out their price. But what I will tell you is their current overall and their potential overall. So to kick off the video, guys, we have a young Belgian. He's 17 years old. You've guessed it already. Bakali, this guy is absolutely incredible and he has the highest potential out of all the young players in this game who are under 18. He plays on the right wing. His overall at his current age of 17 is 73, which is amazing for a 17-year-old, and his potential is 90. And I'm not joking, he can reach 90 and maybe even exceed it. His key stats are his balance, his acceleration, agility and dribbling, his sprint speed and his ball control. He is an absolutely incredible winger and someone who I'm definitely looking to bring into my Arsenal career mode. The next player we're going to look at is 16. He plays as a centre forward. He's from Brazil. He plays for Santos and his name is Gabriel. He is a 66 overall, and at 16 that is extremely high. In previous games he was more of an attacking midfielder, but he has moved up to an actual centre forward now and has a potential of 84, which is extremely good for a 16-year-old. Bakali is an exception. He's like, a 1 in a million, whereas Gabriel is just one of the better players as well. His key stats: acceleration, sprint speed, balance, penalties, agility and shot power. It's not often you see penalties in their key stats, so this guy, if you're looking for a penalty specialist, then this guy is for you. And he is incredible and you can pick him up relatively cheap, so go ahead and check him out. The next player we're going to look at here is Jedvaj. Now this guy has a face, which is always good to see. I do not like picking up players that don't have faces. It just ruins the realism for me. He plays for Roma. He is 6'2" and he is a centre back. And at 17 he is 69 overall, which is incredibly good. He is quite difficult to sign straight away because he has just joined Roma at the club since 2013, as you can see at the bottom there. But you can loan him and he has a potential of 83, and the only key stats you can see straight away are jumping and heading accuracy. But I can tell you, if you scout him further, you will be happy with some of his other stats as well. The next player we're going to look at comes from the American League, playing for the Red Bull, or New York Red Bulls. Valentino Lazaro. He is 17 years old. He is an attacking midfielder who can play on the wings if you need him to, because his key stats are his sprint speed, his acceleration, his agility, balance, dribbling and ball control. Very similar to Bakali in those stats. At his current age, at 17, he is 62 overall and he has a potential of 81 or more, which is extremely good again. And it's not often you see these types of players playing in the American League. They normally are picked up by, the big boys in Europe nice and early on if they have good potential. But Lazaro is definitely a good player if you're looking for a squad rotational youngster. He can play out on the left, up the middle and down on the right as well. And at 5'11", he's pretty decent in the air as well. Okay, so now we're going to move on to another central attacking midfielder, and he is one of the more promising ones. He's Portuguese. He plays for Manchester City at the moment. His name is Lopes, and you can see some of his key stats there. His balance is really nice and high. His agility and sprint speed as well. Acceleration, dribbling and short passing are his other key stats. And his contract is expiring in 12 months and he is loan listed. So this guy should be relatively easy to pick up and relatively cheap. At 17, he is 63 overall and has a potential of 83, which is definitely a good number. And this guy is definitely going to be a future star in the Premier League if he does stay with Manchester City, if you ask me. So he is left-footed, bear that in mind, and he is only 5'9". It's not the tallest for attacking midfielder, but we are seeing a lot more technical players come through the ranks now these days who are quite short and just quick on the ball. But Lopes is definitely looking like a very good player. Moving on to another player here, guys. We have a 17-year-old striker. He is French and he plays for AS Monaco at the moment. However, he is loan listed, so if you need a backup striker for the first season, you can easily pick this guy up on loan very cheap. Anthony Martial is, of course, the player we're talking about, 5'11", and he is right-footed. And some of the stats he has for a striker at 17 are incredible. He is 63 overall at the start, and his key stats are his sprint speed, acceleration, agility, strength, jumping, and balance. And his potential is one of the highest here, 87. So let me just say this now, guys. If you can pick up Anthony Martial nice and cheap, he is an absolutely amazing signing for you because he has some of the best stats in the game. Unfortunately, his skill moves and weak foot aren't too good, but if you can get him in your squad nice and early on, he will shoot straight up and eventually will become one of the best strikers in the game. So definitely one to look out for, guys. Right, now we're going to look at our first German of the video, guys, and he is called Levin Oztunali. I really don't want to get that wrong, but I'm not very good at pronouncing names, as you guys know. He's 17 years old and overall is 60 at 17. He is a central defensive midfielder, which is definitely good. We've got players from everywhere around the pitch here, guys. His potential is 84 and he is loan listed. So again, a great chance to pick up a nice squad rotational youngster there. His best stats are his ball control, his sprint speed, his short passing, his jumping, his long passing and balance. And let me just tell you this, guys, I've seen his stats. They are all very balanced. He is one of those players who he's just good at everything. The only downside I can see to him is the fact he is only 5'9". For a central defensive midfielder, you want someone who's quite tall, someone quite strong, good in the air. He might not be that for you, but he's good at jumping. So, you know, maybe that will help with his height a little bit. But he is one of the future star players from Germany, like I said, with a potential of 84. As you guys know, Belgium have a lot of good players these days. And here is another youngster who is really, you know, catching the eye of many big teams around the world. And that is Schrijvers here, 16, and he's 16 years old and 61 overall already, which is really high for a 16-year-old, and has a potential of 85. And he is 5'9", he's right-footed, and again, he has all of those key stats you want from an attacking midfielder slash centre forward, except from the passing maybe. Good at acceleration, sprint speed, agility, balance, ball control, and jumping for some reason. It's pretty weird for a centre forward if you ask me. And like I said, a potential of 85 is very good. You can pick him up quite cheap because he's only 16, and he has a face, guys. He has a face. Right, now guys, this is one of the most exciting if you ask me. We're looking at Jonathan Tah here. I think I've said his name right. Another German playing for Hamburger SV. He is 6'4". Okay, 6'4" at 17 years old. He's 60 overall at the moment and he goes to 83, a potential of 83. But look at that strength. This guy has got very high strength, one of the strongest defenders in the game when he gets to around the age of 21, 22. He's good at jumping as well, so, you know, combine that with his height, you're looking at a good player. His sprint speed is quite high as well. Oh, it's nerve-wracking, isn't it? Because this guy could be used online. And for a bronze team, yeah, he's going to be strong. Stand tackling, marking, and sliding tackling as well are his other good ones. And he is loan listed. But seriously, guys, Jonathan Tah, I think, will be one of the most used or most bought players in this year's career mode. Another player here, guys, from Netherlands, 6'1", and is a striker. We have Zivkovic. This guy is looking promising. You can only see that he's good at acceleration, sprint speed, and agility. But that is a good sign. This guy will be quick on his feet. He'll be agile. And for a 6'1" striker, you know, that can be handy. He is 63 overall at the moment, which is pretty decent. And has a potential of 81, which, again, is not too bad at all. And would definitely make a very good signing for any team, really. Because he shoots up pretty quick, I've heard. So a tall, strong, and quick player up front. You can't go wrong. But there we go, guys. That is the whole list of players that I can see at the moment. If there are any more, I will definitely make another video. But don't forget to favourite this video. I want you to favourite all of these career mode guide videos, or just favourite the playlist so you can come back and use my videos to help you out, because I'll be making plenty more of these types of videos talking about not just young players, but, you know, players that are already established or world-class players, any players that might help any sort of team with any sort of budget. So please do like the video as well. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time for another video in my career mode guide.